Hey, welcome back to another episode of Simple Truth Television. Today is June 4th, 2021. So the Phoenix Suns and Lakers game is still going on. Right now the Phoenix are up by 16 points late in the third quarter. On Patreon we had the Phoenix Suns to close out the Lakers today. And it was all about the number 14. And if you notice right now, the Phoenix have a 14-point lead. It was all about the number 14 in this game because Mr. LeBron James, those of you that want to know why LeBron James lost today, it's because his playoff, he has a 14-0 record in the first round. His playoff career started in 2005 with Cleveland. And if you just count how many playoffs he's been to, look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And this year will be his 15th playoff of his career, his 15th season going to the playoffs. And you guys should know, those of you familiar with the work, you should know the significance of the number 14 when it comes to streaks. Because LeBron has never lost in the first round. And this year will be the first time he loses in the first round. And notice, this is the reason why. It's because the word end in gematria, it equates to 14. And streaks usually end at 14. So this will be the first year that LeBron misses the second round. He has never lost in the first round. And he came 14 years into his playoff career. And notice, and is also 23, like the number that he wears. And if you saw the first half of this game, LeBron had 14 points in the first half. And today is a day with 14. Well, not today because now it's June 4th. June 3rd, when the game started on June 3rd here in the East Coast. June 3rd, 2021 is a day with 14 numerology. So if the Phoenix Suns win today, I think they're going to win by 14 points, to be honest. Because that's what this game is all about, that number 14. LeBron's first round streak ends at 14. So many 14s in sports. Whenever you see a streak at 14, you can bank it. And also, there's other reasons too. LeBron James equals 42 in gematria. The series is going to close out 4-2. Lakers equals 42. The Lakers finished their season with 42 victories. They went 42-30, like we said here on the channel. I made a video, I think, like 3 games left in the season, and that I said, I think the Lakers are gonna finish 42-30 because that's a big number with Black history. The N word is 42-30, slavery is 42-30, and so many other words. But notice LeBron James is 42, just like the Lakers. The Phoenix Suns are gonna improve 4-2, and I think Arizona is also 42, yeah. Arizona is also 42, and that's where Phoenix is from. So they're gonna close out the Lakers 4-2, and LeBron James' 14th year playoff career of winning in the first round. I'm kind of surprised that they did this to LeBron. I mean, it makes sense. Today, the 154th day of the year. King James is 154. But I'm just surprised that they took LeBron out because, the NBA is all about superstars. And who's the biggest superstar than LeBron James? But, again, the numbers, these people care more about the numbers, in my opinion. And the fact that end is 14, I think these people care more about that. Following their rituals. A lot of people keep asking me now, now that the Lakers are probably going to get eliminated, I do think they're going to lose. They're probably going to lose by 14 points. The people asking me who I think is going to come out the Western Conference, I don't know. I mean, there's a narrative for both the Phoenix Suns and the Utah Jazz. We just had the death of Mark Eaton at 64. And, I've been talking about the number 64 a lot with the Brooklyn Nets. I do expect the Nets to win 64 games this season. The only thing stopping me from making that call was the Lakers, because I was a little afraid of the Lakers. I'm not going to lie. They love to script the NBA around LeBron James. But now that it's over for LeBron, I think it's a done deal. The Nets are going to win 64 games. It's all going to be a Jackie Robinson tribute. And that's a done deal. And it's this year's have been all about number 7. And who wears number 7 in the NBA? Well, one of the biggest stars, Kevin Durant. But so I'm a little shocked that they did this to the Lakers, but whatever. I get it with the 14. I get it. Losing my train of thought. So the Phoenix Suns have a strong narrative because Steve Nash, the head coach of the Brooklyn Nets, he used to play for the Suns. So I'm wondering if maybe they'll have Steve Nash face his old team. But the Utah Jazz also have a narrative because Mark Eaton passed away recently, and they like to sync up the depths with the sports championship. We've seen it with Elgin Baylor. We've seen it with Kobe Bryant last year. His dub was synced up with the Lakers. And we've seen it a number of times in sports. So, in my opinion, I recommend you guys just pick the Nets to win the championship. I don't want to be wrong and tell you guys to take the Utah Jazz or the Phoenix Suns. One of those two teams are going to win. If you guys want to place 2 bets, you could, if you're interested in a parlay, you could say, put the Nets to face off against the Jazz or the Nets to face off against the Suns. I don't think it'll be either Dallas or Denver. No way. The matchup is between the Suns and the Jazz. And I won't be surprised if it is the Suns. Steve Nash did play for the Suns for a good part of his career. But if you guys haven't seen the work that I did on 64, that's the reason I called the Nets to win the championship this year. It's because of the number 64. If you notice I'm wearing this Brooklyn Dodgers hat, it's because this year is all about Jackie Robinson. The Dodgers, they moved from Brooklyn to L.A. exactly 64 years. And the anniversary was actually on May 28th. And if you go back to the playoffs, the only game that the Nets have lost in the playoffs came on May 28th on the 64-year anniversary from the Dodgers moving from Brooklyn to LA. The only game that the Nets lost was on that day, on the 64-year anniversary. I'm like, look at that. But look, so the Nets, they won 48 games during the regular season. 48. In order for them to win the championship, they need to win 16. 16 plus 48. It's simple math. It's 64. And in gematria, Brooklyn Nets equals 64. James Harden equals 64. He just joined the team on the 13th day of the year, number 13. Joined the Nets. Nets is 13. Blake Griffin also joined the team this year. Blake Griffin is 64 in the most pure cipher. He might be the MVP. I won't doubt if they give the MVP to this guy. A lot of you are going to be probably placing bets on the big 3, Durant, Kyrie Irving, and James Harden, and forget all about this guy. But this guy, he does put up some big games every now and then. So this is a good sleeper. If you guys are interested in placing MVP, Finals MVP candidate, this guy's a good candidate right here. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Brooklyn Nets jerseys. They have this version where they only have the letters B, K, L, Y, N. That also equates to 64. B is the second letter, K is the 11th, L is the 12th, Y is the 25th, and N is the 14th letter in the alphabet. You add that up, this whole, I guess, these letters, they equate to 64. That's another 64 right in our face. So look at it here. B is the second letter, K is the 11th, L is the 12th, Y 25, and N is the 14th. It's funny how N is the 14 and the word end equals 14. That's funny. But yeah, so even these jerseys that they sometimes wear have the 64 coded right in the name. This guy here, Joseph, I have a hard time saying his last name. I'm going to say his name is Say. Obviously, probably a Japanese name. This is the owner of the Brooklyn Nets, billionaire Joseph Say. His name is 64. And this guy was even born in 1964. So I can't wait for him to lift up that trophy. And the series could end the day that the Space Jam movie comes out, because the Space Jam film comes out on the day with 64 numerology. And to be honest, whoever comes out of the West, they're not gonna have it's not gonna be a competitive series against the Brooklyn Nets, no matter who it is. This team is loaded. But 64 is also an NBA number. And I know a lot of you are paying attention to what I'm saying now because you guys are noticing that the Lakers are down. And it's just so unfortunate that you guys only pay attention to, like, I'm always like the second option. I mean, I've been talking about this for months. Not months, but at least a month ago, I've been talking about 64 in the Nets. None of you paid any attention. You guys just troll my channel. Oh, LeBron is going to become 5-6. Oh, LeBron is going to finish his career 6-6. I'm like, damn, these people don't do any research. They just rely on what other people say. You guys got to start doing your own research. Don't even listen to me. Do your own research. If I'm telling you that the Nets might win 64 games, go and further the research. And a lot of people on my page, a lot of people on my YouTube channel, they further the research. And a lot of things that I added on to this presentation is because of the research that some of my people found. Like how Kevin Durant, notice he was born September 29th, 1988. He was born on the day with 64 numerology. I didn't know about that. And notice he was born on the day with 145 numerology. Jackie Robinson is 145 and 64. And this person found this. I was already talking about Jackie Robinson, but I didn't even know about this. But this is a crazy connection. Kevin Durant was born on the day with 145 and 64 numerology, like how Jackie Robinson is 145 and 64. That's amazing, and this is what I love about the people on my channel, because you guys further the research. I'll give you a bone and you turn it into, a Thanksgiving meal, and that's what this community should be doing instead of competing against each other and relying on one person or two people in the community to put out the research, and then when that person is wrong, you guys go and attack them and bash them. When it comes to either Mr. Hubbard or me. Just because, I don't know, Hubbard been telling you guys to pick the Lakers, but just because he's wrong, it's not a big deal, because he's been right a lot of times. And, if you guys were helping him with valuable research, probably he would have saw this. But, he has this thing where he doesn't want to collaborate with me out of everybody, but for whatever reason. But I know a lot of you saw the presentation that I put out on the 64s. You guys could have relayed this information to him or to any other people who's teaching the work. I think this community, it's time that we unite finally. And then, we won't have upsets like this. These people are making a mockery out of us because they know and people are just divided. And that's the problem. That's why these people are in power. The Illuminati are not divided. That's why they are able to be so successful. If all these players were not united, these games wouldn't be able to, come out the way they do. The reason these rigged leagues are so successful is because everybody knows their role. Everybody's playing their part. Everybody's being a team player. But in this community, there's no teamwork. But shout out to the person that found this, Jackie Robinson, find right here. I should have looked at the Kevin Durant's date numerology. I mean, I'm silly for missing this. But yeah, look at that. 145 and 64. But and there's probably a lot more 64s. Let me see. Oh yeah, Brooklyn Dodgers, right? This is all going back to Jackie Robinson, right? The Brooklyn Dodgers old stadium was called Ebbets Field. That's 64. I also learned that Jackie Robinson's home, the address where he lived, that also sums to 64. He lived on 5224 Tilden Avenue. Put that in the calculator, it gives you 64. And remember, I was like, I don't know if you guys saw the live stream. I said something's going to happen to Anthony Davis. And something happened to Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis is the reason the Lakers didn't go anywhere this year. Anthony Davis equals 64. He was born on March 11, 3/11 to 64 prime. And just notice, like LeBron all year, I think this is from last year to this year, LeBron has just been wearing Jackie Robinson shirts and jerseys. He's coming to the game with the jerseys on. I mean, why? I mean, this is the guy whose name sums to 42, and he's about to lose to the Phoenix Suns 4-2. The Lakers won 42 games this year. But 42 is a big number with LeBron. But why has he been wearing all these Jackie Robinson attire all year? He's just been wearing Jackie Robinson all throughout the year. But yeah, so 64. That's also a big number with the Civil Rights Act. Remember the Civil Rights Act was established in 1964. Our only black president, Barack Obama's full name is 64. That's a huge number with the civil rights movement. Civil rights is also 64, right? You know what else is 64? Joe Biden. So the first team to win the NBA championship after Joe Biden's presidential victory will be probably the Brooklyn Nets, the team with the 64 connection. So let's see if the Brooklyn Nets will be going to the White House to meet Mr. Joe Biden, Mr. 64. But this right here was a big indicator of who's going to win the championship. And the Nets haven't won the championship yet. But I'm just saying, I got them going. The All-Star game, they had the target score set to 170. And the only team that equals 170 in gematria is the Brooklyn Nets. They was telling us in the All-Star game who's going to win the championship. The target score was set to 170. Remember last year, the target score was set to 157. That was a tribute to Kobe Bryant, who died on the 157th day of his age. And his name is 157. Just like accident. So from now on, let's pay attention to what they do at the All-Star games. Because I think they're going to continue doing these finals target scores, these target scores. And there's definitely going to be gematria behind that number. But notice Brooklyn Nets is also 64, like we mentioned. And there's 170. The All-Star game was set. The target score was set to 170. The season ended 53 days before the start of the finals. Brooklyn Nets is 53. And notice Brooklyn Nets is also 154. Today's the 154th day of the year. King James is 154. And that was the only guy standing in their way. But that's also the day that Jackie Robinson became a baseball player, on April 15th. So how appropriate for Brooklyn Nets to be 154. And I also talked about this song. This is what I mean about the community. I love the people on my channel. I love you guys because you guys make observations that are just truly amazing. Jay-Z had a song called Brooklyn Go Hard. He even talks about Jackie Robinson in this song. And he also talks about the Nets. And this song came out in 2008. The Nets wasn't even in Brooklyn yet. It just goes to show you how these people know stuff way ahead. And then look at this image here with letters. I mean, that's what you got to do. You got to put those letters together so you can paint the picture. But notice the song is 4 minutes and 2 seconds long, like how Jackie Robinson wrote number 42. But look, Brooklyn Go Hard, that's the title of the song. It's 213 and 69 like the NBA Finals. And it's also 75 like how this is the 75th NBA season. And it's also 165. And NBA Finals by itself is 65. So Brooklyn Go Hard. It's also 165. And NBA Finals is 165. So I do think this song is connected to the NBA Finals. Especially with syncing up with the 75 connection. I like that. And this song, notice up here, came out on December 1st, 2008. It actually came out 64 days after Kevin Durant's birthday. He was born September 29th. This song was released 64 days after his birthday. Wow. The Jackie Robinson number. So let's see if LeBron becomes 5 and 6. I mean, what am I talking about? Let's see if the Brooklyn Nets win 64 games this season. Something else. This is very important. Brooklyn, New York equals 79. If the Nets win the championship this year, when they win the championship this year, they're going to pick up their 79th playoff victory of all time. And Brooklyn, New York equals 79. and I expect them to win it. No place than the home Jackie Robinson built. And it's the NBA Finals schedule is not out yet. They do have to start. The game 1 date is July 8th, and game 7 is July 22nd, but they don't have like the full schedule when game 1, game 2, game 3 is gonna be. But I'm curious to know, because Space Jam. A lot of you thought that the Lakers were gonna win because Space Jam is coming out. No, Space Jam is still coming out, and you guys are still gonna go see it. Doesn't matter. But Space Jam is coming out this year, July. It's coming out on a day with 64 numerology, so whenever that is. So yeah, so July 16th. I'm curious to know if this is game 6 or not, because it's possible that the Nets win the championship on this date. Because how appropriate would that be? So let's see. Right now, it's a 17-point lead. I mean, let's see if Phoenix wins by 14. Because LeBron's 14-year first-round victory streak is coming to an end. So let's see if the 14 plays in the final score. So yeah, so let's see. I think I mentioned all the 64s. I mean, there's probably a lot more. If you guys notice anything else that's relevant, please leave a comment. And good luck to everybody. I know I told you guys to place bets on both the Lakers and the Nets, and that's because a lot of you kept flooding my channel with these 56, and I'm not gonna lie, it made a lot of sense for him to become 5-6. But I've been saying this from the beginning. I think 64 is just way more important to Black history and all the stuff that we've been seeing all year. Because the thing is, you have to follow these leagues throughout the year, because they give you a lot of indications of who's gonna win, like how they did in the All-Star game. So you have to track the NBA all year round. So if you're not a full supporter of these leagues, it's gonna be hard for you to determine who's gonna win just by looking at numbers. You also got to look at the things that they put in front of us earlier in the season, like this right here. Like, why was the target score set to 170? I mean, why? Well, it's because of gematria. They're showing us who's going to win the championship. So I know a lot of you are still watching the game, hoping for a miracle. I mean, this game is over. They'll probably. Let's see. I'm trying to predict the final score, but I'll definitely say if the Nets have a 13.5 point spread, I'm taking it. I'm taking 13.5 points to cover that. All right. Nets should cover that 14-point spread. So I'm gonna leave it there. Good luck, everybody. If you're interested in sports information, I'm going to leave a link in the comment section. Today, we had the Nets at plus 130. I mean, not the Nets. The Phoenix Suns at plus 130. So congratulations to all the people who on the Patreon support. Somebody says LeBron is still going to go 6-6. Man. Possible. It's possible they overcome a 17-point deficit with under 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter. It's possible. With no Anthony Davis. And this is another thing that they like to do. They announced that Anthony Davis is coming back. And this is where you guys in the community have to be a lot smarter. Can't let these people trick you all the time. They announced that Anthony Davis is coming back, and a lot of you put money down on the Lakers because of that. Don't you know that these people are liars and deceivers, and they know how you guys react to news? That's why it's always important to just look at the numbers. The word "and" equals 14, streaks and at 14. Doesn't matter if Anthony Davis is coming back or not. Once you know that information, then it shouldn't matter to you if Anthony Davis is coming back. Because look what they did. They had Anthony Davis play 5 minutes, then leave the game, and then he doesn't, he didn't participate in the game. So it was like he didn't play. But the reason they had him, announced that he was coming back, one is because he was never injured in the first place. But it's just to get you guys to bet on the Lakers because they know that this is not even going to be. They're about 13. The Vegas, they know the outcome of this game. They know this game is not even going to be close. But they want you guys, they want your money. They want you placing bets on the Lakers. So if you're a dummy, you're going to be like, oh, you know what? Anthony Davis is coming back. Oh, the Lakers have a chance. And they're the favorite. I'm going to put money on the Lakers. No, dummy. Learn the code. And you won't have to worry about who's coming back or not. Because he played 5 minutes. The ultimate mockery. Left LeBron James out to dry. Actually, I'm going to wait till the game is over. Are they up by 14? This is how you can prove that these games are rigged. We are calling it. I'm going to call this before the game ends. So all of you who like to debate that the games are not rigged, how am I able to tell you what the game is going to, the deficit? What am I, psychic? Do I have psychic powers? I'm telling you, I hope they win by 14 points because I would like to know what excuses you guys who debate that sports are not rigged are going to have now. We're doing this live. The game is still going on. The Suns are up by 11. And I'm predicting that they win by 14. I mean, LeBron James just had 14 points at the half, right? We just spoke about the significance of number 14 when it comes to LeBron James' playoff career. He hasn't missed the second round in 14 years. And then this game is being played on the day with 14 numerology. Guys keep getting duped by these people. And I just wish the community just unite a little bit more. Let's help each other. Because I know a lot of you like money. You guys like to take advantage of these rigged games. But we're gonna keep missing when we don't work together. Last year, well, it was this year. When I was wrong on the Chiefs beating the Buccaneers. And the reason I was wrong is because there was a lot of information that I didn't know, that I didn't have access to, because there was a big part of the community who had the information and wasn't sharing it with anybody else. I put these videos out for free when it comes to championship games because I do the daily decodes on Patreon. People who like to bet on sports every day, and that I'm not gonna put out for free, but. Championship games, I think I owe this to the community. I want everybody to win on a championship game just to prove to people that these games are all rigged. LeBron is not losing today because the Lakers are bad. He's losing because he's following the script. Here the Suns are up by 15. There's 2 minutes left. Let's see if the Lakers get another free throw in. It's crazy. Oh, boy. LeBron got 24 points. Oh, boy. I mean, how many more coincidences do we need? On the 154th day of the year, Mr. LeBron James goes out in the first round. Something that has never happened in his career. You know how loaded that Lakers team is? You have Andre Drummond, you have Anthony Davis, you have LeBron James. If the NBA wasn't rigged and scripted, there's nobody in the world that can stop those three players. Those are the greatest players in the NBA. Well, at least 3 out of the top 10. So what is it right now? 13? Well, no, 6. It's at 11 plus 5, 16-point deficit. So the Lakers could get another layup. It's just crazy. If you guys want to call up, the number is 646-986-0958. I'll take some calls before I end it. 13. What a mockery, man. Stuff is just. So yeah, so the NBA Finals, it could be the Suns, it could be the Utah Jazz. You know, the death of Mark Ian does have me nervous for the Jazz. He died at the age of 64. And then Phoenix Suns has me nervous because that's the team that Steve Nash used to play for. And you know what else is 64? Steve. Name of the Brooklyn Nets head coach. 113, perfect. I've seen that number. I know I've seen that number before, 113. So right now we need the Lakers to score another free throw. See if that happens. You know, they covering a 13-point spread, like I said, you know. So yeah, I actually placed a bet recently on the Nets just to win out flat out. The Nets right now are, I don't know if you guys can catch it at the line that I caught it. I caught it at plus 165. That's NBA Finals 165. So maybe you still could catch it at that line. Hello, how you doing?
Hey, what's up, man? This is Mike.
Yeah, how you doing? Nice to meet you.
Good, man. I'm not really into basketball. I guess I liked football growing up, but before this game's over, I just wanted to mention the date, July 4th, 2021.
Okay. Independence Day.
Yeah, the Independence Day. So, a couple, I guess a month ago or two, they were aiming July 4th deadline to open up everything.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
They basically said they were mentioning, by July 4th, all that. I noticed that, back in December that July 4th is 199 days after the Pope's birthday.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the 46 prime number, sacrifice, Catholic. And, I measured from Joe Biden's birthday and the Pope who resigned to that date. And, that date has 52 numerology.
Okay.
So, we all missed a huge opportunity from not decoding Kobe's death before it happened. It was.
I mean, how can we know that? I mean, how can we know that Kobe Bryant's gonna die?
It's like it was all there though. Like, if you retrospect.
Yeah, but it's like, come on, that's impossible. It was all there, but it's
the way I look at it is that, just by their numbers, and that it's repetitive, you can say, all right, well, these are the days every year that a celebrity might die because these numbers. So
you want us to look? You want us to look over every celebrity and look at to see if there's a pattern? I mean, that's a lot of work. I mean, we don't need to do that to convince people that this is going on. I mean, once it happens, we can show the patterns and look, and then. If people can, I mean, we don't need to decode it beforehand.
I just don't want to miss the 266 Pope that's prophesized to be the last one.
Well, that is a big number with the Jesuits, right? The Jesuit logo, motto, some 266.
I would just like to throw it out there for the community. Try to find a 266 and a 56 regarding either Pope in alignment with this 4th of July. And,
well, Pope Francis is the 266th Pope.
Well, yeah, I'm saying, find something happened 266 days before that date or 56 days before that date because, we already have the 199 pretty strong. And I just wanted to mention real quick, too, it's the 245th anniversary of, since 1776. And Washington Monument and George Washington are 245.
Okay.
All right. So I just wanted to throw that out there in case there's some people listening that want to investigate that end. But.
All right. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you.
Thank you, man.
You're welcome. You know what I'm thinking? If the Suns win with 114 points, and they win by 14? Because LeBron James is 114. So that would be the ultimate mockery. And why did the Suns just call a timeout? I mean, these games are such a joke. They have about 13 points that they calling timeout. What are you, tired? These pro athletes are tired? So look, let me show you guys something. LeBron James, in the alphabetic order, is 114. Are the Suns gonna win with 114 points? They need one free throw, so I'm just curious to see what's the final score. Yes, because the word "end" equals 14. LeBron went to 14 straight playoffs without missing the second round. This is going to be his first year. The word "end" is 14. Today's the day with 14 in numerology, and he had 14 points at the half. So I'm just curious to know if the Suns hit another free throw. So Cameron Johnson has the ball. Let's see if he gets fouled. Makes 1 out of 2. No, they win by 13. 113. 113 is also a huge number with the NBA. The National Basketball Association is 113, like Kobe Bryant. I'm surprised they didn't get to 114, though, but whatever. So, RIP to the Lakers. I feel bad because I know a lot of you put money down for them to win the Western Conference, but you still got time to put money on the Nets. Hopefully you guys cash in on the 64 riddle with them. So good luck, everybody. Only good thing about this is I'm not gonna hear any more 56s in my chat. So. But thanks, everybody. You guys enjoy the rest of your Friday. And I'll see you guys soon.